welcome to Eden's Fun Crochet. I'm Eden. And today we are going to talk about a project I'm going to be working on. By the time you see this, it's already going to be finished and given away. But I'm going to record the process, kind of vlog style, but also describing what I'm doing as I go. So the idea of this project is I'm going to be making placemats. The idea is I'm going to make 3 and my husband's going to make 1. It's going to be a 2-colored star with like a background. It's going to be kind of like this vibe where it's like this star. But I didn't like the idea of doing like the granny squares because that puts like the holes. And I know it makes it have that like quilt effect. But I decided instead of doing that, I'm going to just single crochet it in like squares, colorwork squares, and then I'm going to sew a fabric back on it to make it more durable. And I'm going to just sew along those lines for the like quilt look. I'm actually going to like quilt the crochet, if that makes sense. When I was making the squares, they curve, right? Because that's what crochet does. I'll show you one of them. It starts to like curve like this, and that's where blocking comes into play, right? There's wet blocking, dry blocking, and steam blocking. Like steam blocking requires a steamer or an iron, and then dry blocking requires like blocking board, which I don't have. So I decided to make my own because I really wanted to use one for this. So I grabbed these knitting needles. I couldn't find 4 that were the same size, so I just grabbed one that was a little bit taller. So this is what I have. I can't put them all the way down or else the whole thing will like flop over. So this is what I have so far. I have 10 squares. Some of them I'm going based off of this little diagram that I made. So some of them are just this blank square, and then others are color coordinated. And I've discovered that you make them all the same way. They're all 2 colored diagonals right across the middle. You make them all the same way. If you need it to go like the diagonal to go the other way, then you just hold your stitches, like your color, on the other side, and then it makes it go the other direction. Like this one is the same. I made it the same way. I just did so that like they're like this. Anyway, so they're on the blocking board. I have enough to do almost 2 rows. I need 2 more blank ones to do the second row, so each row has 6. So I have 10. So I have just under 2 of the rows for this one. And I'm planning on doing 3 before December 20th because that's when I'm gonna see my family for Christmas, is the 20th. Because we live an hour and a half away from my family, and I refuse to actually travel on Christmas or Christmas Eve, so we will be spending Christmas here with my husband's family instead of with my family, which is fine because last year we were up north and were with my family the last year and the year before, and then we were with Tyler's family the year before that. Because I have a time limit, I made this little calendar, and I've been keeping track of which one, like what I do in the day, so that I know what ones I still need to do and how many I need to get to. And then I'm gonna have everything sewn. This is my sew day on Friday, so I have a week to do the rest of them, and then I have it like all planned out all the way until we see my family on the 20th. And then hopefully somewhere in there Tyler gets his done, because 4 felt like a little too much for me to do, but there's 4 people that I'm making them for, and so Tyler is going to take the other one because he crochets. I taught him when we met 5 years ago. So he's going to take that one. He is slower than I am, but he also has less time available than I do to work on it, so that's why he is going to work on it on his own time, and maybe I'll show him working on it if I'm ever around when he's working on it and kind of add it to this video. Today's November 14th, and so this is gonna go over a month of videoing and pieces together as I work on it and as it comes together, and I'll show you the process as I go along. So today's the next day, the 15th, and I already have one done that I did this morning. It is C on the bottom, so color C and color B. So I have cream as my background color, which is color C, and then color B is the sparkly silver, and then orange is my color A. So here's my little chart. So I just did this one. So this is the next one I have, where B is on the bottom and A is on the top. So I will go ahead and start that one. Nope, this is color C. B is on the top, so this is the one that I'm going to do my base color in. I will chain 11. And then single crochet across. And so even though I have all 10 of these stitches are going to be this color, this last stitch that I do, I don't complete it when I add on the new color. And then, so like I was saying before, depending on which direction the hexagon needs to go, I'll do it either, like I start it the same, but where I hold my colors onto the back will change. I need color A to be on this side, so the back will be towards me when putting it on. And put my new color in. So I just finished this stitch with the new color, and so then I'm going to chain 1 for my new row. So now I'm going to do 9 of the silver across because I did 1 orange. I'm going to do 2 stitches in the orange and only 8 in the silver. So with the silver, I'm going to not finish my last stitch so that what's on my hook is orange. So when I go into this next stitch with orange, the top of it is also orange. And then my next row, I'm going to do 3. And it's okay if the top of my next stitch is orange, because my next row, I'm going to put an orange one there. So it's okay that that part is orange. The reason why it's so quiet right now, I don't have any kids, and by that I mean my husband took our older daughter on like a little date, and then my younger daughter had a tummy ache. It was so sad. She was just holding her stomach, being like, owie, owie. So we don't watch a lot of TV in our house, but when she can't even like play because she's in pain, I'm like, and it's not like a mental thing at all, right? It's just a physical, like she's had concussions and things where she can't watch TV, or, you know, like she's overstimulated or tired. Like we don't watch TV in those kind of circumstances, but a tummy ache, I was like, let's distract you from your pain. And she fell asleep. I can't talk and crochet at the same time. I had a project. It was mosaic, and I had never done mosaic before, and it was like just the way it was written and the way I was doing it, just it was very not complicated, but like brain intense, and so I couldn't like watch TV or my kids or anything like that. I had to just sit and do it, and that was it. And I couldn't stop in the middle of the row, because if I waited long enough and I came back to it, it was like a whole brain game trying to figure it out again. And so I would wake up early just to have time to work on it. And then I stopped waking up early, and so it just didn't get done for a while. And then I started waking up early again so that I could work on it. Not just so I can work on it, but so that I could have time to do me things. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it got a lot done on it, I think. So I finished it, and it's mosaic roses. Anyway, it's really pretty, and now that I'm done with that, like, I feel so bored with my mornings because, like, just crocheting is boring. It was like, I need something that's more mindful so I don't feel like I have to be doing something else while I crochet in the mornings. And so I started working on one of my patterns in the mornings, so that I can have it done, so that I can, like, actually, because that once I got to a certain point in it, it was hard to do it with my kids. So it's nice to have, like, oh, I have time where I don't have kids that I can just crochet. Okay. So here is 10 rows. So I'm going to do one more row that's just the orange. Okay, there's my square. There we go. I'm going to put it in my chart. So that's the square that I just did. And I did B on the bottom and A on the top. Wow, that's really messy. And now I get to add them to my little blocker. So this is the one that I did this morning. We're almost halfway there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 out of 24. So I am halfway there. So it's the next day. I went ahead and I finished 3 of just the plain white squares because that's all I had motivation for. So I did my 3 squares for today because that was my goal, was to do 3 squares a day. I'm going to start sewing the squares that I have done together so that the last day isn't just a ton of sewing. I have sewn together the first row and it's coming together so nicely. When I'm done with this row, that's going to be half of the squares because there's 6 in each row and there's 4 rows. So this is 12 squares. And then I do have 4 already done for the next row. So I'll just need to do 2 more and then I can sew those on as well. That it's starting to come together, I am in love with it. It looks so cool. And I'm only halfway done with the squares, and then I still have to do the border, and then I'm gonna line it, and then I'm gonna sew, like with my sewing machine, I'm gonna sew on top of it. This is amazing. So this is the bottom half, and then the top half will basically just look like this. I should do the silver for the border if I'm going to do an orange back. We'll see what kind of fabric I can get my hands on. So today's the next day, November 18th, and yesterday I did record a little bit of what I did in the morning, but not as much as I did the whole day. So I did a lot off camera yesterday. So when I finished my squares, my 3 squares for yesterday, I realized I only had the top row left, which was 4 just plain squares, which are so fast to do. Like, so I went ahead and I did the 2 colored ones, and I still had a lot of motivation and energy and time left in the day. So I went ahead and I did the entire top row. So I had all my squares done and the 2 bottom rows already connected and blocked. So I went ahead and last night watched a movie with my husband and sewed together the rest of it. I would have never picked these colors together if I wasn't making this for someone. But I honestly love it. I love it so much. And I did block it. So the next step is to do the border, which I'm planning on doing in the silver, and then doing the back in orange. I need to find fabric. I might have to change my plan depending on the fabric I can find. But that is my current plan, is to do the sparkly border and then an orange back. Okay, so I went and I found some fabric that I have laying around. I found 2 options that would work. I have this one. It is white. This is off-white. So it would, like, wow, this looks white until you put it next to this, and then it looks like skin color almost. Obviously not, because, like, but, and that, I don't know, it just doesn't really work. But I like the fabric. This, oh, it is different. Look at that. Brighter. It's much brighter. It is not the same. Maybe I should keep looking, because neither of these super go well. These 2, I think I'm leaning more towards the orange, especially since orange is kind of the theme that we're going for here. Let me see what I can find. A half hour later, and I have found nothing. There are some like peachy colors, but nothing this cream. I found lots of really cute stuff, but nothing even close to this. I don't even care. Like, it could be busy. It could be pumpkins for all I care. Just something that matches the colors. I found this, but it's like, I feel like it fits the vibes though, you know, like it's kind of in between these 2 colors. It looks more pink on camera. For Christmas this year, what my family is doing is each person gets their sibling and their families, because me and all my siblings are married. So this year I have my oldest brother and his family. So my brother, his wife, and their 2 boys. Their 2 boys are toddlers, right? And their favorite colors are not super set. My kids' colors are like, you ask them what their favorite color is and they'll tell you. But these kids, when you ask them what their favorite color is, they just say a random color. For a little bit, the younger boy was into pink, but the last 2 times I've asked, it was green and black. So we're going to go ahead and do a pink and green star, which I think would be super cute, with like a black background. I like it. For my brother, my husband is going to make a white and black star with a green background. And since my husband crochets tighter than I do, he gets a bigger hook, because we want them to be about the same size. So he is using a 4.5 instead of a 3.75. I think for the other boy, he is more all over the place with what his favorite color is. He never really seems to have a favorite. So I'm going to do like rainbow vibes, but maybe I'll just find a cute fabric that I already have that matches before I get started, so that if I need to change colors before I start, that still kind of fit the vibe, so I don't have to buy more fabric. As far as pink and green goes, this one is my favorite. There weren't a lot, so this one's definitely a winner. There were some that were just pink, but I felt like they were too girly. This one's a little girly, but I think he'll like it because frogs. And then as far as everything else goes, I found this one for the other one. The fact that it's also frogs, and like I could totally do yellow, green, and red, and that's totally not too girly either. So I think it's perfect. So these are the 2 fabrics that I picked. I still haven't decided the other one yet. today is the next day. It is November 20th. I don't remember what I showed you yesterday. I have not done anything today, so this is all from yesterday and the day before, I think. Anyway, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 squares, 5 of which are just the plain black squares, and 3 that are 2 colors. So today is November 21st. Yesterday was the 20th. I did not crochet any squares for this project yesterday. Honestly, I didn't crochet that much at all yesterday. Today I have done 1 square so far, and I'm currently working on this one, and it's 3 o'clock, which means I have a good majority of the day to work on this for catching up for yesterday. My husband, he started working on his yesterday. We knew that his tension is tighter than mine, and so he went up a hook size, and it was still too tight. And so he decided to just kind of be more loose, and that didn't work very well. It was still much smaller than my squares, and we want them all to be roughly the same size. They don't have to be exact, but I would like it to be about the same size. And so he went up a hook size again, and we're going to see how that works. And if it's still too small, then we're going to have to probably just mess with stitch count. That is my little update for this project for today. I just finished that one, and that was number 10, so this is number 11 out of 24 for the second out of 4 placemats. So it's 8:30 p.m. and this is the one that you just saw me starting. Haven't finished it. It's been a day. We have a lot of people coming over, and so I've just been cleaning all day so that they have somewhere to sleep and eat and be. I'm going to sit down and finish this one and do my 1 more for my 3 for today, and then go to bed. Real quick, I already have 2 done. This will be my 3rd, so I'll probably have 4 done today. So today is November 24th, which is a Monday. I don't remember what the last thing I said was, so I'm just going to give a little update for the last couple of days. Today I've made 3 squares so far, and I've done some sewing. Yesterday I did absolutely nothing. We had family over, and it was a whole big thing. I did do some crocheting, but it's very little and very mindless, and not this project. So yesterday I did nothing. The day before that I did 4 squares, which was supposed to be my nothing day. Overall, I have 20 squares made, which means I only have 4 left, and they are all sewn together except the 4 that I'm missing. So, well, I do have a little hole here. But other than that, it is all sewn together. So I just have the 4 that are missing that I need to make, and so on. I'm hoping to do that today. I'm not going to assume it's going to get done today, but I would like for it to get done today. Today is a weird mix between getting a lot done and not doing a lot, so we'll see what happens. So it's later the same day, and I have all but 2 black squares left. I'm hoping to do those 2 black squares and attach all 3 on, and then I will be done. Hopefully that can happen today. Might happen tomorrow morning. So it's 5:20 p.m. same day. I did indeed finish it, and I love it so much. There it is. I already have the fabric picked out, the pink and green frogs. So this one will probably just be put with the other one. Then I'll start on number 3. An update on my husband's squares. I think he has 2 done. He ended up just adding 2 stitches and 2 rows, the triangles. Like, he doesn't have to change the pattern at all because he added 2 rows and 2 stitches. It is closer to the right size now, even though he's using a much larger hook and had to add stitches. They're now the same size. have the backs. Nope, the front's sewn together, so that when I flip it out, the seam's on the inside. I'm gonna see if I can do it with my sewing machine. I might have to do it by hand. I did remember, I almost forgot, I did remember to leave a hole so I can turn it inside out. These corners are a little tricky. Okay. And I'm gonna go over the top of it and sew all of the quilty parts, like the edges. So all of the edges. So that it can look more quilty. And then, so for the border, I think I decided I'm gonna go back along and crochet a border. I don't know. I may or may not add one. We'll see. We'll see. So I was a little nervous about using my sewing machine on such a thick fabric. I've broken needles before, not necessarily with crochet, but I'm notorious for breaking crochet sewing needles. So I did most of it with the machine and it actually worked really well. I'm just going through and sewing up the hole with by hand and hoping it'll make it look a little bit nicer than sewing it. It's not looking bad, but I'm definitely not a perfectionist. Maybe I should be if I'm making this for somebody else and not myself, but I am doing my best without stressing myself out. Okay, well that definitely wasn't amazing, but it works. Okay, so I went ahead and I did all the diagonal lines first, and I think it turned out really well. My original plan was to go through and do all of the square lines as well, so the straight lines down and the straight lines across. But because I was doing it on this side to follow these lines, I wasn't necessarily paying attention to where they lined up on this side, so not all of them line up perfectly. So if I went and did the straight lines, some of these parts aren't gonna line up, like these two middle pieces, and here and here. And so if I put a line down the middle, it's not going to touch one or both of them. And so my thought is to just not do those lines, because then it looks a little bit neater, like it's harder to tell that they're not all lined up. So I haven't decided whether or not I want to do the straight lines or not. But this is what I have so far. And I'm really happy with it. So these are the 3 squares I've done so far today. So far, I've been doing the other 2 bottom up, but this one I've been sewing it together top to bottom. So I was a little bit more strategic this time because I don't want a million ends like I had last time. Hi. Mm-hmm.
Can't believe you've done this.
Today's November 27th. I'm going to give a little update of what we did yesterday, and then I will start working on my squares for today. So this is what I did yesterday. You saw it a little bit in the time lapse. I did these 3 squares and then I attached them as I went. Tyler had one already done and one halfway done, so he finished that one in the time lapse that you saw, and then 2 more. So he has 4 total squares. So this is what Tyler has so far, and I have 6 squares, the first row done on mine. So I'm going to go ahead and do my 3 squares for today, and I'll show you any update that Tyler does as well, if he does anything today. So yesterday I didn't do anything. I started one square and I didn't finish it, But today I finished it and did 5 more, so I completed the second row and attached it, and that is what I've done today. Today is the 28th of November, and Tyler made 3 squares today. Okay, this is actually kind of stressing me out. So I finished all the plain road ones. I have 2 half squares left. I don't know if I'll make it. I'm really hoping I'll make it. I have no idea where I got this yarn from, where to get more yarn from. I've had this a long time, and it's making me nervous. Today is December 2nd. I have done a lot of crocheting today on this project, and it really stressed me out. I was running out of yarn, but I did in fact finish it. It definitely needs to be blocked. Look at how bad it's curling. But I did finish it, and I had this much yarn left over. It's really not that much. The more I went through, like, because I did the 4 just red squares first, and then I was like, okay, I think I have enough for 2 halves. And then I did 1 half, and I'm like, I should be good. And then halfway through the half, I was like, yeah, this will make it, because I was decreasing. And so, yeah. Anyway, I finished that. Still need to sew it. I didn't buy fabric when I went to Walmart for the orange one because they didn't have anything that I liked. We live in a small town. It's a small Walmart, small sewing section. So we were going to go to the craft store when we were up north. And then we forgot while we were there. And so I didn't get any fabric. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. But I already have the fabric for this one. So I probably won't do any sewing today, but I will sew it at some point. I'm going to go ahead and block it because it definitely needs to be blocked. This red yarn is very stiff, and so it needs it way more than the other one did. I have it all pinned together. This is supposed to be the wrong side, and it's the right side. Well, never mind, I don't have it all pinned together. Right. I repinned it so the outside is actually on the inside now. I'm going to go ahead and trim off this little extra bit, and then I'll start sewing. I just went all the way around. I told myself I wasn't going to make the same mistake twice, but I did. Last time I didn't actually forget. I just almost forgot. This time I actually forgot. Oh, maybe I should pick the side that's not yarn. Oh wow, that's so much harder to see. Alright, it just needs to be big enough that I can flip it inside out. It should probably be bigger than this, but I'm too lazy, so I'm just gonna make it work. Okay. There we go. Right now, it does not look very great. But hopefully sewing on the lines will help it be a little bit better. Right, so I'm working on the border for this one. What I'm doing is kind of random because I don't want to like crochet it on, I want to stitch it on with a needle because I don't want to have to like stitch and then crochet onto that. That sounds miserable. So what I'm doing is I chained a chain that I think is long enough. Looks like it won't be, but it wouldn't be hard to extend this. And then I'm crocheting a little bit and then stitching it on with a needle. And then doing it little by little. That way I can make sure I have increases in the corner. I wasn't sure exactly how many stitches I would need. I guessed like 40 by 60 because these are like 10 stitches across, but it's ending up being more than that because of how loose I'm doing it, I guess. But so I'll definitely have to do some extra chains on the end, but this is what I'm doing so far, and I'm almost halfway through with this border. My husband has all of his squares done. All of his squares are done. I feel really stupid. I was gonna show what it was when it was done, but I already packaged it. I guess you don't get to see it. I mean, you saw it when it was almost done, like when it was around the border, like I did half the border, and so I just finished the border. I ended up having the perfect amount of chains. I did the decrease in the last chain, and like for the increase in the last chain for the corner, and then sewed it together. I finished it and it looked really good, and I showed my family and they loved it, and then I was like, I'm done, I'm gonna wrap it. So I wrapped it. Sorry, I forgot to show you. I don't remember what the last thing I filmed was for this, and I don't remember when that was. Today's December 13th, and I'm going to give a little update. So I have the black and green one finished and packed. Oh, and the bows fell off. Finished and packed. This one needs a border, a green border, so crocheted on. This one needs the fabric that I finally bought at Joann's yesterday. Joann's, that was wrong. I bought it at Hobby Lobby yesterday. It matches almost exactly. It's a little bit off, but it's close enough. So that needs to be sewn together. And then the other one is the crochet pieces are done. They just need to be sewn together. So I am hoping to get a decent amount of that done soon, because in a week from today, I need to give them away. So we're gonna hustle down and get these done this week. Let us sew some pieces together. Know that the bottom needs 2 green next to each other, so we'll start with that. I hate these plastic ones, so I'm gonna use this metal one. Okay. Alright, first 2 attached. A million years later, I have this one attached. Almost. I almost have this one attached. Million years later, I finally have this one attached. Don't know why I started there. Should have probably started here, but it's fine. This is one of the bigger ones. These are the tiny ones. Look at that. That's such a difference. Oh my gosh. This is what we have so far. I don't remember what I showed you last time, but this is what we have. We're almost halfway there. One more square and then we're halfway there. Do you think this is enough progress for one day? Can I be done? I have half plus 1 square. I'm going to take a break so that I can go play games with my family. And I will probably do some crocheting, and I might record some of that crocheting, but I don't want to work on this. I have enough little pieces and things that I'm just going to leave it all in here. Okay, friends, so this is the progress that I have on this. And I did, in fact, finish this. So now I'm going to package it so that it can be ready to go, just like the other one. And then this one needs to be sewn and have a border, and the other one needs to be put together, sewn, and have a border, all by next Saturday. So today's Saturday, next Saturday. So I have 7 days. Well, not exactly, because anyway, point is 1 week to get everything done and packaged and taken to my brother and his family when we go up next Saturday. Today is December 25th. I went ahead and sewed on 2 more squares. I'm going to see if I can finish sewing all the squares together right now, and then I can sew the backs on both of these at the same time. I will probably have to borrow thread from my mother-in-law because I ran out of black, and I have white, but it's on like a serger spool and it won't stay on my sewing machine. So I will have to either buy some, which I don't want to have to go to Walmart today because my husband is taking the car, and so I will probably just borrow some from my mother-in-law. I would love for you to help me, but I don't have any presents to wrap right now. How many plain green ones did you make?
I think I made 8.
8? Yeah, I needed more than that.
Oh, I see.
Because I have
I don't
1,
know how I
2, 3,
did that
4,
math.
5, 6, 7, 8. I need 4 more.
6, yeah. I don't know how I messed that up. Alright, I'll bring that yarn and a crochet hook with me when I go today. This is not what I used, is it?
5.5?
I guess it is.
So this is as far as I can work on right now because my husband made the wrong number of squares for it. He only made 8 of these instead of 12. So I'm just waiting on those so that I can finish the last 4 squares. So I will not be finishing this today like I was wanting to, but that's okay. I would just go ahead and crochet them myself, but his tension is way off than mine for them to be the same size. Like, let me show you this. So these are almost exactly the same size from end to end. And I used a 3.75 hook. He used a 5.5 hook, and I did 10 stitches and 11 rows he did 12 stitches in 13 rows. So he had to add stitches and rows and like double his hook size almost. For me to match tension, it would take way longer than for him to just do it himself. So he's gonna go ahead and do that while he has a thing that he's going to tonight. So he's gonna work on that. I don't know if he'll get them all done, but that's the plan. So I'm gonna go ahead and wait on the sewing so that I can do them both at the same time. Because it is Wednesday? Yeah. Today's Wednesday, and I'm going up to my parents' house on Saturday. So I have today, Thursday, and Friday to get this done. The Christmas gifts for my brother and his family. I was going to start sewing the pieces, but then I ran out because my husband did the wrong math. So I am now going to finish sewing them together so that I can sew it on my sewing machine to the fabric. So hopefully I can get most of it done today. Today is December 17th, and I just finished sewing this together. I'm going to loosely weave in some of my ends so that they're not super crazy, trim them down a little bit. And then I will start pinning the fabric on. Well, first I need to find the fabric. Pin this fabric to this one. Go steal some thread from my mother-in-law, and then I will sew the pieces together. Not sew the pieces together, sew the back onto the front. Wow, my brain is not working right now. Okay, I found the white fabric and I have the orange fabric, so I'm going to pin and cut and do all the fun stuff. I will show you when it's ready. Ready? And now they're pinned. Look at that. This time I do have both outsides on the outside. The insides on the outside. Anyway, so I sewed it all the way around, closed the opening, and I've done this much so far. Turn it inside out, or right side out.
Right side out. It was already inside out.
Yeah. Ta-da! Now I just stuff it with polyfill and make a pillow.
Totally.
I'm done for today. I will do the rest tomorrow. Tonight I'm just gonna work on something else and be happy with it. I just finished the sewing for this one. I think it's my favorite sewing job so far. Like, that's pretty even. And you'll know what I mean when you look at this one. It's pretty bad. I already have, I just need to stitch it on. This is the corner. Okay, this one now has a border, It's a little funky. It's a little funky right here. Because I was trying too hard to make it loose, and then I had to be super tight here. So there's the border for that one. This one still needs a border. Don't know if that's going to happen today. So I almost finished.
I'm sorry.
Today's December 20th. I'm giving them their gifts today. I just finished the border and now I need to wrap it so that it can be ready to give to them this evening. So today is Christmas Eve. I finished those presents a few days ago and I'm sitting here editing the video and I realized I never made an outro. So I'm gonna make a little outro, I guess. I finished the gifts on the 20th. I finished sewing on the border for the last one and wrapped it and put it under the tree. All my siblings are getting together at my mom's house up in Provo because they all live in the area, and so they're just gonna open them on Christmas at my mom's house tomorrow. I will not be there. I will be here with my family and some of my husband's family. So I will not be there when they open them. I will not have it recorded or anything. I apologize for that. I didn't take any pictures. But I do have the whole process recorded. I just didn't take any individual photos, so maybe I'll have my brother do that when they open them. Thank you for watching this video. I put a lot of effort into recording the process. I started it before Vlogmas, and Vlogmas ends tomorrow, so that is fun. I started it before Vlogmas, which means I was recording the process before I was recording everything that I did in a day. And let's just say that Vlogmas has kind of worn me out a little bit. I will definitely be doing it differently next year than I did this year because that was a bit much. But once I committed to it, I didn't really want to uncommit. I did say at the beginning I wasn't going to do it every day. I think besides Sundays, there was one day I didn't do it. But I don't do work stuff on Sundays, so I didn't do any Sundays, and I didn't do one other day. I think it was a Tuesday, and that was it. I was doing tie-dye today, okay? Don't look at my hands. Anyway, so yeah, thank you for watching this video. I hope you like it. If you do, I am not the type of person to ask for likes and comments and stuff like that, but I put a lot of work into this video. So if you watched it to the end, please like it so that other people can see it, so that my effort is not being wasted. I put a lot of work into this, into editing it and making sure it all was cohesive. It was not cohesive. I am sorry. I did my best. I know the ending was a little rough because I didn't record the process super well at the end, so I apologize for that. Anyway, thank you for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye.